And I thought the flanker positions were hard to pick in the player power rankings. I tell you what, number 8, so difficult this one, rock hard. So lots to talk about as we do it. The player power rankings is where I'm ranking the top 10 players in every position as we come to a close in 2023, and with the Rugby World Cup still relatively fresh in our mind. Who's moved up, who's moved down? There are some new faces in the top 10, and I'm sure there's lots that you'll want to discuss. Get stuck in below in the comments, give the video a thumbs up, and please hit subscribe. I'm Tim, and this is Egg Chasers. And the number 8 position quite often is one of the best players on the rugby pitch because they require so many different skills. They have to be quite often a ball carrying focus, a line out forward, a big defensive player, and a guy that can just read the game and has the soft skills handling to be a link man as well. So these are some of the best athletes on earth and on the rugby pitch. And at number 10, Viliama, Bill Mata for Fiji, who's into the top 10. He had a great World Cup, and you know, Lavani Bottia featured prominently in the open side position in the last video I did. Go and check out all of them, all of the positions so far in the forwards. And by the way, I'll be doing an overall forwards top 10 next, taking all the forwards 1 to 8 and trying to pick one top 10. The best forwards on earth. That's really tough. So keep an eye out for that one. But Bill Mata, I mean, he was an Olympic gold medalist at sevens with Fiji. What year would that have been? 2016, I want to say. 32 years of age now, and he's brilliant in the 15-man game and a big, big man who provides a real focal point for his team. At number 9, another new entry into the top 10 is Ben Earl, who has been a revelation. I was quite surprised, given that it feels like he's only just established himself as an England international. He's got, I think it's nearly 30 caps. So he's been around and about, but he's never been the main man. He's always had a couple of games here, a couple of games there. When there's an injury, he's been used quite often off the bench. But Ben Earl looks like being England's number 8 and has just totally changed the way that they play. He's relatively small as number 8s go, but I tell you what, he is just a bundle of energy. And with that balance of Tom Curry and Courtney Laws, it had real balance. Neither of those two flankers are going to be available for England, so it'll be interesting to see what England do in the Six Nations in the new year. But Ben Earl looks like he's injured as well, so he might not even be in England's lineup. But when he is back and fit, he'll be there, and he was fantastic. England's best player at the World Cup, so deservedly into the top 10. Just ahead of him, Rob Valetini. Not a great World Cup for Australia, not a great World Cup for Rob Valetini. I just think, and I did consider putting Ben Earl above him, just purely if I was taking the World Cup form into account, I would have done. But I think Rob Valetini's got enough credit in the bank that he deserves to just have some of that count for something. 39 caps for Australia, still only 25 years of age, and a really important player for Australia who, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm hoping they can be a force in the future. It's dire times for Australia, but they have got good quality players. Rob Valetini, number 8. At 7, Jasper Visa, who was not selected for the biggest matches in the knockouts for South Africa, but he is an absolute bull of a man. What a ball carrier he is. I've seen a lot of him in the Premiership playing for Leicester Tigers, and he's a fearsome customer. Duane Vermeulen was preferred for South Africa. He will not feature in this top 10, by the way, because I just took the decision that players that are retired from international rugby, I will retire them from these lists. So Duane Vermeulen will not be on it. Jasper Visa is still only 28. He's got another World Cup in him potentially. He's got some competition for his spots, mind you. At number 6, Taulupe Faletau, who's had so many injuries that you think, had he been able to stay fit, that he could have. He's one of those players that could have been the number 1. He could have been the best number 8 in the world. He's still absolutely outstanding, and he was great during the Rugby World Cup for Wales until another injury intervened once again. It's just cruel. But Taulupe Faletau, 104 caps, coming towards the end of his career, 33 years of age. I'd like to think he's still got a few miles on the clock. Number 5, Jack Conan, who was largely sort of... He wouldn't... I don't know what his thoughts on the World Cup would have been. Obviously, every Irishman was disappointed with the World Cup. Jack Conan didn't get as much game time as he maybe would have liked. That's because the back row options that Ireland have are so good. I just love this guy. British and Irish Lion. Started those 3 tests against South Africa. And honestly, I reckon most countries would take him as their number 8 like that, except for a couple. I certainly would if he was English. I would absolutely love it. He's a proper classic number 8. Number 4, Quade Smith. I mentioned on the last video, I didn't know where to put Quade Smith. Probably should have been an open side flanker. That's the position that seems to fit him best, I would have said. But the reason I've put him at number 8 is because that's where South Africa have used him most in recent years. In fact, he came on in the quarter-final, semi-final and World Cup final at number 8, coming on for Duane Vermeulen. So on that basis, I've got him at number 4. This is the best impact player in the world. I wonder if he was getting more minutes, whether I would have him further up the list. Quite possibly. I mean, it's hard to quantify the value that this guy brings. Those whole battle stats that Rassie Erasmus pioneered and Jacques Nienaber, the way that they use him in those 30-minute bursts when he has incredible impacts on games. He's one of the most valuable players in the world. That being said, the talent at number 8 is such that he is at number 4 on this list. Tell me if you disagree. Get stuck in the comments. Kaylin Doris is at 3. He was my number 1 last time. And the top 3 number 8s are just classy. They all are players that can play. They're all court players. They've got incredible hands. They've got great rugby brains, brilliant ball carriers, fantastic over the ball, great defensive players, just all-round incredible rugby players. And there's very little to choose between. Kaylin Doris, who's still only 25, 36 caps for Ireland. He's going to be an Irish international for many, many years to come. Between him and Gregory Aldr, who again is 26, similar age profile and similar number of caps for France as well. He missed a chunk of the World Cup, and didn't they miss him? He is just classy as you like. And number 1, World Player of the Year, Ardie Savia. What can you say about this guy? He's just a wild player to watch. The things he can do that nobody else can. In fact, quite similar to Quade Smith in that sense that he's just so explosive. And the interventions and the impacts that he has on games are unrivaled. And rightly, Ardie Savia is number 1 on this list of number 8s. Have a look at the top 10. What do you make of that? Again, get stuck in the comments if you disagree. Any players I've missed? Different order that you would put players in? By the way, I don't know why Quade Smith's got an arrow going down next to his name. That should be an arrow going up. I apologise, Quade. I apologise for that. But there you go. That's the top 10. There will be some notable absentees from that list. If you think no Jimeno for Japan, no Facundo Issa for Argentina, both great players, Lorenzo Canoni for Italy, and there are others. And as I mentioned, Duane Vermeulen has retired from international rugby. And there's some good players in that position that could well be making an appearance in the months and years ahead. Let me know who you think those people are as well in the comments. Like I say, next video is going to be a summary of the top 10 forwards overall, which should be interesting. And it's already giving me headaches, making me wonder how I'm going to actually manage to pull that one off, because that's going to be a proper head scratcher. I will see you on that video. Nice one for watching.